Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today I have another makeup tutorial for you guys. This time it is on a classic winged eyeliner and also a bold red lip. If you like what you see and you want to know how I created this look, please stay tuned. So guys, the first thing I'm going to be using is my primer. And I'm going to be using the Benefit Porefessional Hydrating Primer, which is this one. So with primer, I think I've said this before, it is very important to have primer. It does protect your skin, it keeps your makeup on for longer, it fills in all your pores, all those fine lines, everywhere that you kind of want that smooth base. So definitely having a primer, and I would only suggest maybe using the size of a pea and not too much. So like literally this is the only amount that I'm using. And I mainly put that in my T-zone area. So the forehead, around the nose, on the nose, a little bit here, and then on the chin, and then whatever extra I have, I kind of just spread it around a little bit. And then just basically rubbing it into your skin. So next I'm going to be putting on some foundation. Now obviously I'm going to be using my favourite foundation, which is by Nars Cosmetics, which is the Natural Radiant in the shade Tahoe, which is this one. I need to buy a new one because it's running out. So you can use a sponge or you can use your fingers, but I prefer to use a brush, and I prefer to use more of a fluffy brush like this. So this is what I'm going to be using to put on my foundation. And then what I like to do as well is I like to pump the foundation onto the brush as opposed to the back of my hand, because sometimes I feel like it's a waste of product it being on the back of my hand. I'd rather just put it straight onto the brush. And just dotting that around the face. And then just blending it all out. Making sure you bring it down to the neck as well. So now I'm going to be doing my brows. I like to do my brows before I do my concealer. So I'm going to be using by Benefit Cosmetics, the Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 4, which is this one. The reason why I like using this is because the pencil itself, it's a really fine tip, so it gives you hair-like strokes. So that's why I prefer it, and it's waterproof, it lasts for 12 hours, so yeah, I prefer to use this. So just starting off from the bottom of my brow, basically outlining my brow. And then not going all the way here, but just about halfway at the top here, I'm going to outline the top of the brow. And then just shading that in, just doing long strokes here. And then at the front, just doing strokes going upward. And the reason why you do that is because your hair here, it grows upward as opposed to growing to the side, it grows upwards. And then grabbing the brush that's on the end of the pencil, I'm just going to brush through it so it doesn't look too harsh. And then just grabbing my Nars Concealer, and this is the Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Chestnut. I'm just going to be carving out my brows. And I'm going to be using a small brush like this to do it. So starting from underneath. And then just going at the top of it. And then grabbing a little kind of fluffy brush like this, I like to blend out the concealer. And then with the extra concealer that's left on the brush, I like to just pop it into the front part of my brow so it looks a little bit more faded and more natural. So now with the brows all done, we are going to move on to concealer, well, highlighter and contouring as well as concealing. So the first thing I'm going to be using is the concealer we use to carve out the brows, which is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Chestnut. I'm going to be popping that on underneath my eyes, just around my nose and then around my mouth, well, the corners of my mouth. And then grabbing my beauty blender, which is this one, I'm just going to blend it all out. For highlighting, I'm going to be using the Benefit Cosmetics Boing Cakeless Concealer in the shade 7. So where I'm going to be putting on the concealer is on my forehead, underneath my eyes, on my nose, a little bit here on my cupid's bow, and then just a little bit here on my chin. And grabbing my beauty blender, I'm just going to be blending all of that out. Whatever product I have extra on my sponge, I'm just going to pop that onto my eyelid just to kind of neutralize the tone as well. And then for my contouring shade, I'm going to be using the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Dark Coffee. Yes, which is this one. So with this, I'm not going to be using a lot, just enough. So just going to start by dotting it around the forehead. So when you are doing your contour, you want to start from the top of the ear going downward. Now I do quite a small line, so I only do it up to where my eyebrow starts, because I don't want it to be too heavy. So I only do a line going from the top of my ear downward to where my eyebrow starts, and then using a brush like this, I then blend it out. Like that. And then just doing a line going like that, and then like that, and then doing the same on the other side. And then grabbing my brush, a fluffy brush like this, I'm going to just blend it out. So I always start off with the forehead first. With the contour shade, I like to push that into my hairline so it looks more natural. Now when it comes to blending out the contour on your cheekbones, the best way to do it is just basically like brushing it upward, and then doing little circle motions going upward. And then again, grabbing the beauty blender that has some of the concealer on, I'm just going to sharpen the line a little bit. And then just going over some bits on my forehead. And then when it comes to contouring the nose, I like to use a brush like this, which is quite a flat brush, and I'll use that to contour. So just grabbing some of it on the brush. Now the reason why I use a brush is because I want the lines to be quite thin and I don't want them to be too thick. So kind of following where your eyebrow ends. Just doing a line going down. Like that. And then doing the same on the other side. Making sure that both lines are as straight as possible. And then also doing the bottom of my nose. And then using the brush that we used to kind of blend out the brows, I'm just going to kind of blend that in a little bit. And then again, grabbing my beauty blender and then just kind of going back in with it underneath my eyes, because I tend to get a lot of creasing just underneath my eyes, so I just want to get rid of that. And then I'm going to set all of that in place, especially underneath my eyes, with some translucent powder. And then I like to bring the translucent powder all the way up to my nose. And then also popping that on the bridge of my nose. And then I'm just going to let that bake for a little bit. Now that the powder has baked or settled in, I'm just going to brush that out. And then even though we contoured, I'm still going to pop some bronzer on. So the one I'm going to be using is by Benefit Cosmetics, which is the Hoola Caramel. So where I've put the contour, so the darker shade, that is where I'm going to be putting on the bronzer. And then also going over my nose. So now with the contouring and highlighting now done, I'm just going to move on to the eyes. Even though we're not really doing a heavy eye look, I'm still going to put on some colour onto my eyelid, but this time I'm going to be using a bronzer. So I'm going to be using the bronzer that I used on my face, which is the Hoola Caramel, and I'm going to be putting that all over the lid and then just kind of bringing that up. So just grabbing my MAC 217 brush, I'm just going to be popping the bronzer all over my lid. And I'm going to bring that up just past my eyebrow as well. Just up to where my temple is. Once that's done, I'm going to be using an eyeliner, and I'm just going to be doing normal eyeliner, nothing too crazy. So the eyeliner I'm going to be using today is by NYX, and it is the matte liquid eyeliner. And just going to be doing my eyeliner how I normally do it. Now that the liquid eyeliner is done, I'm just going to be putting on some kajal just on my waterline, and I'm going to be using one by Sephora, which you probably have seen before. So this kajal is in the shade Enchanting Beige, and I'm just going to be putting that onto my waterline. And then just to finish off the eyes, I'm just going to put on some mascara. So I'm going to be curling my lashes before I put on my mascara. And then I'm going to be using the Roller Lash by Benefit. And then to top it off, I'm going to be putting on some eyelashes. And then I'll show you how I do that as well. So when I am putting on eyelashes, I prefer to do the mascara first and then putting on the eyelash. But it's entirely up to you. Some people do put on the eyelash first and then put on mascara, but it's just the way that I put on lashes. With the mascara now done, I'm going to finish off the eyes with some eyelashes. So today I'm going to be using the lashes by Eylure. These ones, which are the Luxe Solitaire, and I like these because they're not too heavy. They're quite wispy. Now this does come with a glue, but I prefer to use the glue by Duo, and it is this one, and it's more of a brush on glue, and I prefer this more than the other one. So that's what it looks like, the brush. So when it comes to eyelashes, making sure that you measured your eyelashes. So they should always end at the end there, but then start just here. They shouldn't go all the way down into the corner. So you should start about 1/4 of the way in. Now with these eyelashes, I have already measured them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting them on. So you can use a tweezer to do it, or you can use your fingers or a Q-tip, whatever you find easier. I like to kind of press it on with some tweezers. So just brushing on the glue onto the eyelash. When it comes to eyelash glue, I think Duo is the best. They do a black one, they do this one, they do a white one which dries clear, but I prefer this one out of all of them that I've tried. So what you need to do, you need to let that kind of go tacky, so wait about 30 seconds, and then in the meantime, while you're letting it go tacky, with your eyelashes kind of go like this, so it's kind of bending the strip a little bit. When you're putting glue on your eyelashes, make sure that you put it more on the ends because that's where it tends to lift more. So make sure you put more on the ends. That's gone tacky. Now I like to start from the center. And then grabbing the end. And grabbing the front. And then I use my fingers and I like to press it in. So you're basically pinching both your fake eyelashes and your eyelashes together. And then grabbing my eyeliner, I just like to go over the top so it kind of blends well together. And so that's how I put on my eyelashes. So I'm just going to do the other eye off camera and then I'll be right back to finish off the rest. So my eyes are now complete and I'm just now going to move on to the blush and highlighter. So I'm going to be using the blush by Nars in Taj Mahal, which is my favourite. This one. And then using the highlighter Tickle by Benefit Cosmetics. So I'm going to be popping that onto the high points of my cheekbones and then on the bridge of my nose. So just to finish off, I'm going to be doing the lips now and I'm going to be using quite a deep red and I'm going to be mixing it in with another colour which is a much brighter red. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in 50, which is Voyager, which is this one. And then I'm also going to be using the Nars liquid lipstick in the shade Don't Stop, which is this one. So the first one I'm going to use is the Maybelline. Now when it comes to red lipsticks or darker lipsticks, I tend not to wear any lip liner, so I'm just going to do it without lip liner. And then just going over the top with the brighter red lip. First I'm just going to put a little bit in the centre. I know this looks a little bit crazy. And then grabbing a brush, I'm just going to blend it in together. And then if there's any areas that you feel like you just need to conceal, just grab your concealer and conceal over it. So this is the finished look for my classic winged eyeliner and red lipstick makeup tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you see, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So all the products that I've used today, I will pop them into the description box below. And if there's anything that you would like to see, please leave me a comment, or you can always message me on my Instagram, which is @makeupbysedge with 2 underscores. And again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. See you later.